Hi, this is Jabba here, and what I'm going to be looking at today is how to post-work your 3D renders using video effects rather than just simply straight into Photoshop or GIMP or the image editor of your choice necessarily. Because there are sometimes that there are special effects that can be found in video editing packages that can actually be useful to us. And so today I'm looking specifically at DaVinci Resolve. If I well here I'll pull this image off. It's an old render I did a while back, and so we can use that to perhaps edit. Play around with it. Add some rays and stuff to it. Just to make it look a bit more dynamic. Okay, so DaVinci Resolve. If you were to just simply Google DaVinci Resolve, it should be like pretty much the top hit that you'll get for it. There is a free version. It's the free version I am using. So here we are at the official DaVinci page, the Resolve page, should I say. So if we slide right down to the bottom, you'll see what I mean. It's like the free version, the studio version, which is £785, so just short of 1,000 US dollars. Now, the actual free version, obviously, it has limitations. Because they have to be buying something extra, paying that extra money, and so there are a couple of things that we will discover that we would maybe want to use, but we cannot use because they're only available in the studio version. That's just the way it goes. It's, you pay your money, you take your choice. What we're looking at today is incredible, considering that we can use it for free. Okay, so if I launch my Resolve, right, so if I just double click this to go into a new untitled project. Well, this is kind of typical. This is what you'll see. I will stress what I'm not going to do today is I'm not going to go through the interface. It will take, that would be a series of videos in itself probably. So I'll just look at specifically how I can get to fiddling with the renders that we've done, rather than giving a briefing on all the different functions. Because this is the functions are extensive. It's now a complete suite of professional video editing and color grading. Now this is like one of the best color graders actually in the industry. So here you'll see the buttons down the bottom. Well, we can cover basic navigation. So we're in the media for like loading up our media files. This is edit, so this is like our timeline, and where we can apply like some standard transitions and stuff. And here's the color grading suite, which this is what we will be using today, because it's also got the video effects here. Now, deliver, this would be if we were exporting a video. We will not be needing to use this today. But of course, if you're doing like a full video edit, then you would need to be exporting, rendering out your composition. Okay, so if we go back to media, I'll just slide this over. If we go into active, well, here's where I've stored my. So here's the two images that I'm planning on using for this video. So there's the troll with the torch, that was off my DeviantArt page. I did another quick render of just a street scene. This is like Mediterranean street, and all I did was I loaded up the default scene. It did not have any lights with it, so I loaded a sky dome and the corresponding lights for that sky dome. You know, I just didn't spend any time on it at all. It was just to get the basic render down. And so, as you can see, this is looking as you would expect. You know, it's like, yeah, sure, it's a render. It's lit. It's got shadows, but there's no zing to it. It's nothing special. Obviously, it's not exactly going to turn it into a dramatic scene altogether, but we can sure as hell make it look a lot better than this. And that's if we bring it into here. So if I just drag across here, and I'll just drop these into my media pool. And like I'm saying, I'm not going to go into like how you theoretically should like add a bin and all that sort of stuff, because that's if we were doing like a full video project. Okay, so from here, what I'll do is if we click on edit, then if we drop these into into the timeline. There we go. So if we were to actually play the timeline, then you're seeing this is as if we're making a slideshow, for instance. So it's one still image and another still image. Okay, so if I scrub this back to here, because when we're going into the color grading, where I've got the marker is going to be the image that we're going to be working on. Okay, so if I just hold it over the troll with the torch and click on color, you'll see here that we've got we've got that very same section of footage that that is our still image. Now, things that we've got here. So here we would be able to switch between the two for actually working on, but the things to perhaps see is up here you've got like Lightbox where you can just check out your stuff, click it again to get rid of it. The effects panel, it's just a case of making it visible or invisible. The nodes, well, we will be using the nodes. Now, as far as the clips are concerned, or timeline, see how that's changing, telling us which one is active. And again, gallery, we will be using the gallery, but I'll close it for the time being. In fact, I'll just close the timeline and the clips as well, just to maximize the sort of size of our preview screen. Okay, now what we have here as well, we have our nodes. Now, what these are effects. Is we could basically just do like, it's like if I was to use edge detect, for instance. If I just drop that on, then you'll see that's how we apply our effects. So if I just right click that and reset node grade, it'll set it back to normal again. And what we can do, we can actually use several effects and stack them on top of each other. All we need to do is just add node, add serial. Serial. See, so there in theory, I could have like effects on each one. What you will discover is if you start stacking too many, then it'll be very hard to control, because even small setting changes will amplify. As it processes and then processes again. A couple of things before we go into the specifics of this image that I should perhaps say. My computer, well, I've got 16 gigabytes RAM. I'm currently about 50%, 49% right now. So this is Windows 7 and Resolve running. That so it's about 7.47 gigabytes RAM that's in use. So you do have to be aware that because this actually does change things on the fly in real time, then you do need to have a computer that that can handle it. That having been said, it's free. So it's worth trying out. It may be that you'll just things might be slightly delayed on your machine. Who knows? Try it. You never know. Okay. So here, one other thing. Right. Now, if we go into File, Project Settings. The project settings, here we've got a timeline resolution. Now, if I was to actually change this resolution, then that would change. This is basically like the size of the image that would actually export is whatever our resolution is. So it's by sheer coincidence I'm actually using 1920 by 1080 renders. But if you were doing like a different there you can see it's changed. It will letterbox if the image doesn't actually fulfill the criteria to use it the entire area. So if you've got a portrait, for instance, it might be worth actually putting on its side, but before importing it, to get a maximum effect. But just for argument's sake, I'm just going to put this at 1920 by 1080, just because it's nice and convenient for me. And I can use it as a, well, who knows? I might use it as a wallpaper. Right. So a couple of these that do not actually work are film grain and lens flare. These ones you need to have the full version. So if, just for argument's sake, if I drag lens flare and drop it here, you'll see it's telling us that we would need to buy the full version in order to actually get this to work. So obviously I'm clicking not yet because $995 is a bit expensive for me to actually just use the use the light flare effect. But it's see, because this, again, you're like bearing in mind that this is intended for video use. Then this is something that, like for instance, a car headlight. You can actually track it with the headlight in the video replay, stuff like that. So here, if I, so that's the default. Well, blank is like switching it off. Late afternoon. No, there's like a headlight, like a car headlight. 1970s sci-fi, modern sci-fi. So it's there are we're looking at going, oh, I wish I could use that, but like we say, what they do provide for free anyway is pretty awesome. So it's just a case of, we just need to accept that there's some things that we cannot actually use, but we can use light rays, and that is what we're kind of going to be concentrating on today, really. Okay, so with the first one, I'll use glow for the first one, I think. Right, now with glow, to switch between them, if I double click, that's taking me to the settings for this node. So if I was to double click here, there's nothing. There are no settings because nothing's been loaded yet, and that one's been reset as well. So there we have our output. So here we can to refine your adjustments. It's like if I whack down the threshold, then we can see like shiny regions, like the glow alone. So this is just the glow effect that we're looking at there, and so you can you can fine adjust it. So there I'm looking at going, well, yeah, the glow from the flame, that looks quite nice. And so we have like the spread. So I'm concentrating on the flame really for this. So I want to concentrate it just glowing just beyond the flame. So there, that'll do for that one really. Because this is just to show you, you can have a play with these settings, and see what suits you. So the next one, if I use light rays on this one, if I drop that in there, then here we go. So that's glow for that node. See, so now when I double click this one, it's going to the settings for the light rays. Right, now the output, again, source regions, well, it's we can see the flame. That's we can look at our so there it's like we're actually getting something from the ambience of the sky as well. If we put the threshold down, edges. Okay, right. So if we look at the final image, so we'll look at the bright regions. I'll just put the threshold up just a bit. Now we've got our adjustment settings here, and again, it's like I'll do this relatively quickly, just so that I'm, so we can change the X and Y. If it's from a specific position, if it's from an angle, then it's just simply changing the angle. Now this isn't looking particularly awesome at this point in time. So again, it's a case of it's sometimes worth just checking out these different drop-down boxes just to see what the changes actually do. It's like here, for instance, when I go from bright regions to edges, suddenly from at an angle, but if I change it to from a location, then suddenly this is going to start to look a bit more dramatic. Right, threshold. See, so if I just generally put it somewhere near the flame. Okay, now if we lengthen, so we can change the length. How if we were to soften that slightly, or we can make it pretty harsh. How sharp the lines are. So just give it. If we bring the threshold up a bit. Let's make it the same as the flame. So there, that's a bit too yellow, I think. Hang on, let's. Okay. And see what I mean? Just having a fiddle with the settings. Okay, so just for argument's sake, let's say that I've decided this is so awesome, I want to save it. Okay. Of course, I've not actually used this one. I don't know whether to bother using that one or not right now. No, let's not bother. What I was thinking of with this one, I'll use with the next image rather than this one. Right, so here, remember that it's like if we click on to get to see our gallery, there's nothing here yet. If I right click over this image, then I can grab still, and that gives us a still image. Because, like I'm saying, remembering with the phraseology, it's a still. If this was video footage, then that's like taking a freeze frame of this frame that we're working on. But that's kind of irrelevant to us because we're just working with a single image anyway. Now, what this is actually is so that you can save off your like your color grade settings. And so that they could actually be used in a different scene, so that you can match the same color grading and that with like different footage in your timeline. But for us, we can use that to our advantage because if we were to actually go to deliver, for instance, then all this would be doing is we'd have the option of exporting this as like a video, as a video file. So that's why this is not something that we're going to be using. So if we go back to color, here with this, if I just right click and go to export, I'll just take it to my desktop. Active project, PNG this one, untitled. Right, I'll just do untitled. All right, so that's that exported. So we'll see here. So here's the original image that we started with, and there we have the troll torch with the rays added. So that in turn, so it gives you something that's a lot more dramatic and dynamic looking, which in turn you could then take into Photoshop or GIMP or something to actually then edit even further if you wanted to, or maybe it's just simply sprucing up an old render that you wanted to sort of update. So that's that one. Right. If we look at the next image, right. Okay, I just want to make sure that's reset. Okay. All right. So here we have. As you can see, that's still there. If we were to save this as a project, then you could actually keep all your grabs in a project. And it's like here, for instance, I could actually drag this over, and it would instantly apply the settings from this image onto that image. Yeah, so I don't know. Some people might want to keep a library of saved grabs. I've not quite got to that stage yet myself. Okay, so if I just reset all, so that sets us back to the beginning again. Right, now here, this one I will actually add serial. And so this one, like I'm saying, I will use all three this time. Now again, the first two is kind of a bit similar to what we had done with the previous image. I'll add a glow to the first one. and I will add light rays to the second one. Now here, if I don't want to actually see this effect, while I'm working away, if I click on the number, it hides that effect. There's nothing on that one yet, but so there, that one's light rays. This one's glow. This one, it will actually be color space transform, I believe it is. Hang on, if I just load that up. Yes, it is. Right. Color space transform is what the last one's going to be. Okay. So just for argument's sake, let's switch that off, switch that one off. And so if we just stick with the glow as our starting point, select output, glowing image, glow alone. Well, here we can see the glow is basically from the sky. So if we just pull that back a bit. Okay, the image. So here, if I just switch off for a second, it's mainly spillage over the rooftop that we're looking at there. Anyway, so it's just subtle, but it makes a difference. And so if I just go straight to the rays, and here. And once again, we could actually just look at the rays alone if we wanted to. Hang on, if I switch off the glow, you see how that's okay. Anyway, right. Before I get too carried away with myself here, if I just get on with it. Okay, right. If we go with the final image. Now here, from a location, as you can see, it's if we just do it at an angle. Okay, so then again, we can lengthen the rays. We can soften, sharpen, etc., etc. Right. Now, for this particular one, do I want at an angle or do I not? Right, source of rays, edges maybe. And from a location, this is maybe getting too overbearing. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's too over the top. I think we'll go back to bright regions. And swap up the threshold just a bit. Okay, and reduce the length. Okay. That's already soft. Okay. Okay, right. Right, so what I'll do now is I'll actually do just a little bit of color grading, just so that you can see how this can actually make a difference. Because again, that's looking very bland. It's very monotone-esque. Right, so we've got the primaries wheels. So lift, gamma, gain. I'm not going to go into the intricacies of these. Well, if I'm being honest about it, I'd probably actually get some of my explanations wrong. Right, so you've got your primaries wheels, and you've got your primaries bars, and so you've got your log. which shadow, mid-tone, highlight. So like low, mid, high. It's No, it's actually the lift, gamma, gain that actually gives you stuff that's a bit more dramatic often. And again, you can monitor if like here, although that's showing keyframes, we're not using keyframes today, so you can watch a histogram, a parade. Again, it's like it's just so you can see the intensities of your RGBs and stuff. Okay, right. So if just for argument's sake, I was to because imagine the lift. These along the bottom, these can all be adjusted. So it's a case of like left clicking on it and then dragging to the left or to the right. So here, for instance, if I go to the left, if I drag it to the right, you'll see the shadows getting brighter. So they're dragging to the left. And similarly, the gain. It's adding more intensity to the highlight. And again, the gamma, well, I'll actually just reduce that slightly. Here, the shadows, I'll reduce that just a bit. The mid-tone, I'll leave that, and I'll just get the highlight just a bit. And now here, basically, if you grab the circle in the middle, the dot in the middle, and then drag it towards the color, then the highlights, it's like here, it's like if we want the highlights to be like yellow, like as if it's like something warm, Mediterranean or something, then if I just start dragging it across, you'll see the highlights are getting, they're getting very yellow. Now here, like if I make the shadows blue, oh, that's not in a line, by the way. It's like I could drag it any which way. Right, but it just so happens that I'm wanting this to be a bit blue. In the mid-tones. Well, again, it's a case of, I'm wanting this to look warm. If I switch to primary swales, and again, it's a case of, if I just cool down the dark areas. Okay, right. So you see what I mean by like the color grading, the ability to do the color grading. Now, but we also have like our color space transform. So this is where we can use. So here, for instance, it's like we've got our sRGB, but we've got a whole host of other settings that we can actually use as well. Now, some of these are going to be very dramatic, and so you see here, if you're using these, then in turn you have to like reduce the settings that we've already put in the previous nodes. But I'm just basically highlighting these just so that you can see the sort of dramatic changes that you can actually make. So that's, you can suddenly you can make things very surreal. And then you can actually get these to stack. I'm just kind of more or less randomizing these, to tell you the truth. So HDR, that's flattening it out. But here suddenly we're looking at this and it's like, oh look, you know, it's like we're you know, starting to look a bit old-fashioned there. But anyway, it's okay, so if I just leave it at that, you know, just for argument's sake, it's no, again, it's you may find that a lot of these, you're looking at them and going, "Ah, but these are no use to me." You know, yeah, it's just a case of remembering these are designed for video effects rather than working with a still image, really. But if I just leave, if I just leave this the way this is now, if I just grab that still and export it, and if I do that as a PNG as well. Okay, so if I do this as like Med Street 2 maybe. Right, so here we've got the original. That's what we've changed it to. You know, if we're looking at, you know, we're going, we don't really like that. You know, maybe the colorations I was doing at the end, you know, were too over the top. It's all too yellow. You know, so it's I'll just go in, switch that one off. Yeah, we can just grab the still again, export that. So that's 3. You know, so it's not, you know, so it's not quite as intense, but there, that was just to show you that you can, you know, the adjustments you can make. You know, it's certainly not. I'm not sort of touting this as being, and this is an awesome image, you know. But if you're comparing it to, how do we stop this from being so plain looking? Take it into Resolve, give it a go. Alrighty. I think I'll just leave it there. I've rambled on enough, and like I say, DaVinci Resolve, it's the best, by far the best editing suite that you can get for free. You know, hands down. I can't sing its praises enough, really. And so, obviously, if you're using Linux, then you're kind of screwed. But as long as you're Mac or Windows, then you're fine. All right, I'll leave it there now, and I'll catch you next time. Cheery bye.